so we are live. Okay, so what today's lead course POTD is. Okay, let me share my screen. Mhm. Yeah, so what today's lead course POTD is destination city, where we have been given parts of a city in an vector of strings, where our first variable is our starting city and our second variable is our destination city. So we need to find our destination city, what will be our city from where we can't go to any other place. For example, we have been given a path from London to New York, from New York to Lima, and from Lima to Sao, Sao Paulo. And as we can see, from London we are going to New York, from New York to Lima, and from Lima to Sao Paulo, and it's our destination city. And in another text case, we have been given path from B to C, from D to B, and from C to A. So it can be in any order. So as you can see, from D we can go to B, and from B we can go to C, and from C we can go to A, and from A we can't go to anywhere. So it's our destination city. And in the question we have been given that it is guaranteed that graphs of paths form a line without any loop, and therefore there will be exactly one destination city. So we can first of all use an unordered set to store our starting city. So how we can calculate our destination city, as it's given that there will be only one destination city, so we can store our starting city in an unordered set, and we can iterate up, up our paths about our destination city and check if they exist in our origin city origin city set, and if it doesn't exist, then that will be our destination city. And if we found our destination, if we don't found our destination city in our origin city array, then we can return that city, else we can return an empty string. So let's try running it. Okay, so let's try submitting it. Okay, so yeah guys, it got submitted. This was all our lead course POTD. So now over to you, Sangam.
Yep. So guys, the question that we have been asked today in today's GFG PODT is that there is a number that is given to us. Okay, so this is the number that they have given to us. Now there are two variables or two integers that are given to us also with that. Now we just have to figure out a way to reach to that number by the help of these two integers. So what does this mean? Let's say our n that they have given to us is about 4. Okay, and the number from which we can choose is either 1 or either it is 2. So now how can I reach to 4? So either it can be I just take 4 times 1. That is the first way. Either I can take 2 times 1 and 1 times 2. The other probability will be I take first 2 and then 2 times this. Either I can take as first 1, then I take 2, then I take 1, or either I can just simply take 2 times. So if you see, there are total of what, 4 probability, 5 probability that we are getting. Yeah, and that is what we have to return in this question. So this 5 would be our answer. Okay. Now this was for the case with when n was equals to 4. Now what if n is equals to 1, then what would be the probability? And the number that they have given us from which we can choose is either 1 or either 2. Now among 4, 1, the only probability that we have is only 1. So our answer in this case would be simply 1. Now if we take n is equals to 2, there are two probabilities that we can get. The first one will be that I only take 2 times 1, or either I can take just 1 time 2. So among these two, the overall probability will be 2. Then for when n is given to me is 3, there are kind of three probability that we are getting. First one will be that I take 3 times 1. The other would be that initially I take 1 as 2 and then I'll take single integer as 1. Or either I can take 1 as first one and the second, or 2 as the second. So these three will literally sums up to be what? 3. And there are only three ways that we can reach 3 using 1 and 2. So the number is 3. And as we have already calculated for 4, it is 5. So for when n is 4, the number of possible ways are 5. And similarly, if we take 4 integer 5, it would be, first one will be that we take 5 times 5. So the second probability is that I take 3 times this and 1 2. The third probability that I take 2 times this, 2 and 1. The next probability can be that I take 1 this, then 2, then 1 1, or either I can just in the beginning take 2, then it would be 1 1 1, and so on and so forth. But in the example as they have given to us, that for n is equals to 5, the number of probability are what? 8. Number of probability is what? 8. So if you see, for the overall 5 perspective, the number of probability is coming out to be 8. Now if you just see this order very carefully, we are going to find a significant pattern in this case. 1 2, then 3, then 5, then 8, and then so on and so forth. So do you see anything, or do you recognize any kind of pattern that is forming in this case? Just see it. Doesn't this series or this whole line appears to be kind of a series which is similar to the Fibonacci series? Because in Fibonacci series, what we do is we take for n, let's say this is the integer, we take the sum of n minus 1 plus the sum of n minus 2. And in this case, except for these two initial integers, so except these two initial integers, if you see from the perspective of moving forward from these integers, that is from 3, you're going to find out that 3 is just a sum of 2 and 1. Similarly 5 is just a sum of 3 and 2. Similarly 8 is just a sum of 5 and 3. You're seeing a pattern here that is forming. What we are saying is that if the value is, or the n value that is given to us is 1, the answer would simply be 1, because there is only one way. Okay, but if the value of n is 2, still the answer would similarly be only 2, because there are only two ways. But from moving on from till 3 till the 10 raised to power 5 value, what we can do is we can just take a sum of whatever value that we are given, just 1 less to that value, and we just added it to the 2 less of that value. And if we do this thing, we are literally going to get the answer that we want. This is the same principle we have getting our total values at 5, which is just a sum of 1, or you can say 2 and 3. This case, we are using the Fibonacci series to find the elements value moving forward from the current one, and that is the way we are going to solve this problem. So now there is also or you can say exception that they have provided us in this code, and that is that the value can be very large in some point, and in that case you have to take the modulo of 10 raised to power 9 plus 7 by finding that value, because other than that the value is going to be way larger than what the integer can store. So we have to cope out with that thing too. Okay guys, so now let's just focus on the code. So initially what we have done is, as I already told you, if the value is 1, simply return 1. Okay, and here is the other thing that we can do, that if n is equals to 2, then simply just return 2, because there are two ways that we can find that thing from. But now if the value is from 3, now what I am doing here is I am taking two variables. First name is A and the second one is B, and I'm assigning them the value of 1 and 2. Why I'm assigning them the value of 1 and 2? Because my for loop is going to start from 3. So for the value of 1 and 2, for when n is going to be 1 and 2, I'm just taking these two values or storing them in two variable, that is A to go forward in this loop and just going to update the value. Now how this value is going to be updated, initially we have stored A and B as 1 and 2. So what I'm going to do, for 3 the sum would be what, A plus B. Okay, so for value of 3 the sum would be this. Now when we move on for n is equals to 4, what is going to happen now is this 2 will now become our A and this 3 will now become our B. Okay, so now for 4 what is going to happen, we have to take the sum of A and B. A is in this case is 2 and B is in this case is 3, so the sum here would become 5. Then moving forward, 4n is equals to 5. Now again we have to update the values. So for now A will become our 3 will become our A, and this 5 will become our B. And as I already told you, we just have to take the sum of these two. So 3 plus 5 is what, 8. That is what we are going to do in our this for loop. By the help of this temp variable, we are just finding the value of the current element and then just updating the value of A and B with this case. And finally we are just returning the value of B. Why? Because if we see in the final level, like if I am at here and I am updating the value, then this will now become my A and this will now become my B. So this is what I am returning as my answer. Okay, so this is what we have done in this case. Now let's just submit this code out and get on with it. So as you can see, this is working perfectly fine. So with that guys, today we have solved both GFG and Leetcode PODT. We hope that you guys be able to understand it and be able to get on with the code. With that, over to you, Shiva.
So yeah guys, thanks for joining with us. We will catch you up tomorrow. Okay guys.
Yeah guys.